This is where I'm at as a fan. You can make an argument, Barcola in, grand, Gakpo stays, grand. I've no problem with that argument. The problem that I have is, what type of a window has this been for us? You know, let's say the Barcola situation works itself out, we get him in, and that's the end of the window. I don't really think whatever side of this you're on, you're going to be happy, right? Because we still haven't got a DM, we still haven't got a right back. And I'm okay with Gakpo staying. I said this the other day. I have no problem with him staying. But it seemed to be that he would feel like his minutes were going to be levelling off a little bit, and he would probably be the one to make way. But if he doesn't make way and a boy doesn't come in, that's fine. I've no issue with that whatsoever. The issue that I have, though, is what the fuck have we been doing? You know, because this transfer window has just not been good enough. And, you know, we've all tried to be patient with it. I've definitely tried to be patient with it. But you got to just ask, at what point do we just say that it's a shambles? And that they just aren't, again, setting the team up for the season in the right way. Look, I'll give it up to you guys to have a say now. Let me just check back in with some comments. 195 Chrysler said, I'm so feckin' tired of this window and small club mentality. We always drag things out and never build a full squad out. So I've tried to warn about a couple of things. Like I did say to you guys that it would be a huge outlay from FSG in this window if it went the way we were talking about, and the sales were only going to be Cody Gakpo, let's say, and Curtis Jones, with a Bay coming in, a DM, a centre-back, the wingers that we're bringing in. And that's what worried me about it, because in every other year, they've been able to make up for some of the transfers by selling off players. But because of the contractual situation and the amount of players that we've already let go, there was no low-hanging fruit there for FSG or Richard Hughes or whoever's in the recruitment side of it to sell off. So it feels like, yeah, again, as fans, we're getting fucked because of mistakes other people are making. It's not good enough. And ultimately, the sooner the better FSG get out of the club. Because at this point, we're just becoming the same meme every single summer. Monitoring, looking at, interested. Then we get all the lies about all the plans in place, the recruitment just ready to go. Everybody's brilliant, patting the back all around. Is there anything to be said for another round table? And yeah, here we are, end of the window, bare minimum yet again. I remind you, folks, we've made one permanent signing this summer. We had a deal that was agreed in January that, yes, goes on the books for this summer, and a loan move for Araujo. That's where we're at. And for me, that's not going to strike the fear of God into Arsenal, Paris Saint-Germain, Real Madrid, Barcelona. So, I don't know, lads. I'm not expecting a lot this season from Liverpool Football Club. I'm expecting us to struggle a bit as the season goes on, because the depth isn't there, and it's just frustrating because it's just rinse and repeat. We're here every single window. Gary said, so we don't have a right winger and a right back. That's going to be square pegs and round holes. Exactly, Gary. And, you know, I'm not speaking out of turn, Gary, to say that many journalists wrote to say that Liverpool were aware of the previous problems and weren't going to make the same mistakes again. This is what I'm saying. There's never any accountability. You know, we're always given promises. We're always led down the garden path. There's always an excuse. Then there's always promises of the next big window, but it never comes about. So look, on the Gakpo stuff, I am okay with it. Like I've always said to you guys, I've got no issues with Cody Gakpo. And if Cody Gakpo stays, no problem. And financially, it would have actually made them money to bring in and buy and sell Gakpo. So I don't know if something else has happened. What I'd really love to know, and I haven't had the chance to try and dig into it yet, is, has something changed on the Gakpo move? Has something changed there? Because that's what it feels like, thinking about this from the outside, that maybe Spurs have decided they just can't go ahead and get Savinho and Gakpo, and that Liverpool are then saying, oh, well, we were never really that interested in Mbappe. Because you can't meet with somebody twice, once in France, once in London, see them left out of their matchday squads and expect us to believe that we weren't really interested or weren't negotiating about getting them done. It just feels weird, and we just don't have a right winger, do we? How much did FSG spend last season? Net 150, which was less than Arsenal, and they've had another summer this summer where they've been bringing in top talent. Chelsea have brought in a load of top talent. Spurs have brought in a load of top talent. City have brought in a load of top talent. Meanwhile, we've triggered a release clause for 35 million quid and got a loan off Barcelona. That's what we're supposed to believe is going to go out there and win a Champions League. I don't know, folks. Each to their own and all, but I'm not overly optimistic. Unless there's a load of lying going on and this window has a different end to it than it's shaping up to. Elk said, was in 40-mile-per-hour car crash yesterday. The other person was at fault, walked away with a strained shoulder. The videos got me through yesterday and today, where we trust you with Barcola. Look, I've always told you guys, and hold me to account on that, because I did say and have said and am saying Barcola is going to get done. But I was watching before I started the stream, and again, there was people in the comments trying to make out like I said Mbaye was only a matter of time. I never said that. I've been really honest this summer and said what I knew about and what I didn't know about. And I'm still not certain that Mbaye stuff is correct, because there are contradictions here. The French side are saying one thing and the English side are saying another thing. Now, we know where the English side are being briefed by. We know that that's the club briefing them, but are they doing this from a negotiation standpoint, or is it real? That's what I'd like to figure out. And truth is, I don't know. I don't know what happens with Mbaye. But if we don't pursue it, I feel like it's probably got more to do with the Spurs side of it than the Liverpool side of it. That would be my understanding anyway, or my guess. And also, Elk, sorry, mate, to get back to your, I hope that you recover quickly, mate. It's, I remember when I was in a car crash way back when, the shock kicked into me like 6 hours later or something. So I'm glad to hear that you're okay. I know you said you had a bit of a shoulder injury, but I'm glad that you're safe, my man, and thank you for checking in. Appreciate you. Is there a world where we keep Cody, sell Fede for 10, 15, 20 million and get Mbaye for 35 to 40? I think we need Gakpo as a centre forward cover while Hugo is injured. So I'm absolutely fine with Gakpo staying. I've no problem with that whatsoever. The reason I'm going to say no, Cal, to the likelihood of what you've said is, again, money. You know, let's look at the raw numbers so far this summer. Liverpool have brought in less than £1 million so far. So we haven't exactly recouped much. With regards to outgoings, the 60 million quid for Xhaka is on the books for this summer. The 35 million quid for Munoz is on the books for this summer. So that's 95. And let's say Barcola, and again, I'm just guessing here, let's say he costs 120. So then you're into what? 215 million? And the only money it looks like we're getting back in is Curtis Jones at 30. So that leaves Liverpool with a net spend of 185 million in the transfer window. But we haven't really done a lot with that, have we? Like, as in, we haven't exactly built out a squad with it. Because we had to replace Mohamed Salah. And of course, again, as fans, I feel like we're getting punished for other people not sorting out the contract situations. And that's why I feel very dubious about the idea of what you said there, Cal. You know, bringing in 15, 20 million and then spending another 40 million. It just takes that number even further and bigger. And it seems so unlikely under FSG. And also, the lack of communication from the owners of the club towards anybody in a fan position, whether it's Spirit of Shankly, whether it's supporters who have season tickets, whether it's international supporters, the absolute shenanigans and the duplicitous nature of the whole consortium buying in is something that needs to be discussed as well, because, you know, to be 38%, that's a significant amount. And again, we know that the mechanism is in there for them to take controlling interest in the next 12 months. So, it certainly feels like FSG, to me, are just losing interest. And this feels like the start of the end game for them. And then you'll see a cleaning of house behind the scenes when the window closes. You'll see Hughes going, and I'm sure a few others will probably leave as well. And then there'll be new people installed, and the club will probably start Liverpool 3.0 or whatever it is. But, you know, this window's not looking like we're going to be coming to a fantastic conclusion. You know, Barcola, like we said, we do believe that one gets done. But after that, it's slim pickings. There's not much chatter at all around midfielders. And there's more reports today to say, you know, midfielders are unlikely.